Hi, this is Craven, an open world game where you explore your world to find truth about yourself. Since last video, I've been further developing the design document, magic system, and lore. I don't want to spoil anything yet, so I'm just not going to talk about those things for now. Here are some more tangible things I worked on this week. For now, it's just a texture I scroll on a quad somewhere in the sky, just like God intended. At first I was facing this issue where the cloud texture was super pixelated and jagged for whatever reason. And as it turns out, I was importing the cloud texture compressed and it wasn't lossless. I then layered the second plane on top that's offset and moving slightly slower. It just helps add a bit of depth. From the start, I knew that I wanted items the player is holding to be visible. So I made the hands show when standing and fan in when moving. For this hand animation, I actually didn't use animation players. I have a T value like it's tween between 0 and 1. I then position and rotate the hands according to that T value. I know it might not be the best option for something as simple as hands fanning in or out, but this is a practice I want to adopt in general for Craven to make animations more deterministic. And yeah, I want to see where it goes. Actually, I did the same thing with this magic box looking thing. I've been playing around with this plugin called Proton Scatter. You'll never guess what it does. And I've been trying to get the grass to work with it, specifically the shader, because I use custom instance data to align the normals with the ground so it looks nice and crisp. I also made this component called Scatter Visibility Enabler. Basically, it's a component that makes proton scatter nodes scatter only when they're close to the viewport or only when visible. First, I connect the screen enter and screen exit signals to the scatter and clear methods. Then I make a rough estimate of the bounding box of the scatter because proton scatter nodes aren't exactly precise. Then I extend that AABB to just give it some leeway. And on the first time scattering, I get an exact bounding box via this getAABB function. And then again, I extend the AABB to give it some leeway. I know I shouldn't prioritize something like performance at this early of a stage, but I didn't feel like having to deal with this problem in the future, since my worlds will be pretty large. I also started work on the music. I'm still inexperienced with composing though, but I'm hoping to greatly improve my skills over the development. One thing that I realized is the player will be spending most of the game staring down at the ground, so I should communicate the openness of the world more through sound rather than solely relying on the visuals. For example, take these two soundtracks. So that's it for this video. What I've shown so far is really just the basic stuff, nothing really flashy. It's the stuff that nobody really wants to talk about because it's boring and doesn't really get views. And I just wanted to give some attention to it because I feel it's often neglected. in this series I really want to document everything about the process of making a game alone. Progress is a little slow at the moment. I'm busy with work in real life, but I should be able to get back to consistent development in the next 2 weeks or so. Alright, I hope you learned something. See you next time.